Gameplay. In this section, we'll be looking over Reimu throughout the years in the game. We'll see how she functions and see the difference between her and the other girls. We'll also be looking at the spell cards associated in the games as well. In terms of gameplay, there are many key features about Reimu that are unique only to her. In terms of her attack, Reimu tends to use these the most frequently in all the games. The first would be her Ofuda. Like explained in my possession section, they are sacred paper charms with anti-yokai properties that she uses to fight, seal, or exterminate yokai of any kind in her Damaku. Another would be her needles that are used to stab her enemies in combat. She also uses her trusty yin-yang orbs as well to bounce the living fuck out of people. She wields her purification rod, but that's mostly used in the fighters though, which I'll explain once I reach that portion. When it came to power, it was the complete opposite of Marissa. While Marissa tends to have the strongest attack throughout most of the games, Reimu was usually the weakest even with the other girls. There was a reason she was the weakest though, and that's because of her homing attacks. Reimu tends to have a shot type focusing on homing attacks, which helped a lot. Even if you weren't directly shooting your opponent, your homing amulets were always hitting, while weak was better than nothing. When it came to her range, she was probably one of the best characters to use. The homing shot type, while weak, was no doubt amazing for clearing the stages, as it covered much of the screen. And since those shots were homing, you didn't always have to position yourselves properly in order to net you some kills, which is a bonus. Her speed was another weak point of hers though. While her speed was slower than Marissa, her speed was usually the same as Saki, or at least until Imperishable, where it last showed the stats screens. Now in the future games, it seems her speed is equal to that of the rest of the cast, minus Marissa, as Marissa's speed was one of her special traits. Reimu isn't bad, mind you, it's just noticeable when you play Marissa for quite a bit. So the feel of Reimu could be a little off if you tried her second. And luckily, we did the speed test in Marissa's episode to compare the girls in the last game, and we saw the only real difference was in Marissa. I'll showcase the test again. Let's talk about the last of her little perks she gets compared to the other girls. A key thing when you're playing Reimu is her hitbox. The first time we really see this feature was in PCB, as a game profile mentioned her having the smallest hitbox, and that's something that's been in all the future games. One thing I want to point out is that with Reimu's kit, she is most suited to newer players. Her homing attacks, wide range, smaller hitbox, and lower speed for grazing were great tools for those learning Touhou. So if you ever wanted to try the games, I suggest Reimu for ya. We finished discussing Reimu's key features in the game, so let's review all the games she's been in, her shot types, and spell cards for it. Like previously stated, we'll be only doing the Windows game as they're the games I have access to, so we're gonna have to count the PC98 out. In EOSD, her shot type A was awesome against swarm of weak enemies, but wasn't strong on bosses. Her shot was Hakurei Amulet and her bomb was Fantasy Seal. Her shot type B was a good balance in damage and area covered, but the bomb was doggy shit. Her shot was Precision Needle and her bomb was Evil Sealing Circle. In PCB, her shot type A was called Spirit Sign Pursuit type. At normal speed, her shot was Homing Amulet, while her bomb was Fantasy Seal Spread. At focus speed, her shot was Hakurei Amulet, while her bomb was Fantasy Seal Concentrate. Her shot type B was called Dream Sign Rapid Fire type. At normal speed, her shot was Precision Needle, while her bomb was Evil Sealing Circle. At focus speed, her shot was Extermination, while her bomb was Duplex Barrier. In Imperishable, Reimu was the Illusionary Barrier team where she teamed up with Yukari. Reimu's shot was the Mind Amulet, while her spell card was Spirit Sign Fantasy Orb. And her last spell was Divine Spirit Fantasy Seal Blink. Last spells are used when you've been hit and you press a bomb button. This will not only activate a bomb stronger than usual, but you will retain your life. But it does cost 2 bombs, so keep it in mind. And another thing to know is that you'll activate your partner's last spell when you hit. So if I was playing Reimu and she got hit, I'd activate Yukari's last spell and vice versa. Yukari's last spell would be Boundary, Quadruple Barrier of the Imperishable Knight. In Phantasmagoria of Flower View, Reimu has 4 spell card charge and an EX charge. Her level 1 is Hakurei Amulet. Her level 2 is Spirit Sign Yin Yang Sign. Her level 3 would be Spirit Sign Fantasy Seal. Her level 4 would be Spirit Sign Hakurei Illusion. An EX ability is something that will be happening to your opponent's screen that will try to attack or put them in a disadvantage. Reimu's EX ability would be the Yin Yang Orb, and basically they're just Yin Yang orbs coming and hoping to bounce your ass. In Mountain of Faith, she has 3 shot types and there's only 2 playable characters. It also does things differently as they now introduce things called options. The options are the smaller objects following the character and shooting whatever we're firing at. They're important as they can vary dependingly on your shot type. Her first shot type is called Homing Type. Her shot is Homing Amulet and the option will have a rear position, so basically they'll be placed behind Reimu. Her second shot type is called Forward Focus Type. Her shot is Sealing Needle and the option is in a forward position, so the familiar will be in front of you. Her last shot type is called Sealing Type. The shot is Yokai Buster and the option are in the left to right and focus. In unfocused stance, the option will be placed horizontally on Reimu. Once you shift into focus though, the options will gather to you and you'll have a super spread shot. As explained in the Marissa episode, there's no spell cards for Mountain of Faith. When you bomb, you make the circle and it clears bullets and damages enemy like it's supposed to. The thing is that using a bomb will cost you power. It takes out 1.00 or 100 points to be correct. So bombing in this game and future games with this system is much more intense. While it's lame that there's no spell card, it does get the job done. In Subterranean, Reimu has 3 shot types once more because there's only 2 playable characters. This time though, they brought back the partner feature from Imperishable, so whichever shot type you pick will dictate which partner you'll bring with ya. If you chose Hakurei, you'll have the Forward Focus type. The option is Rolling option. Her shots are Purple Needles of Painful Reproach. They're a violet colored needle that flies straight forward. Her Spirit attack is the opposite of a lack of common sense. Nice name, I'll admit. All points except for Grace points are temporarily lost and you're immune to anything during the duration, and you're able to move freely and shoot shit. This being Hakurei, she has a few cool tricks up her sleeves. Her support skill, the unique feature you get from each partner, allows her option shots to warp around the opposite side of the screen, which is pretty bloody cool. Not only that, you can teleport from one side to another. Holy shit, that's pretty fucking awesome. You just need to tap twice on the arrow key at the edge of the screen without firing and you'll appear on the other side. Her second shot type is Suika. This one is called Guided Piercing type. The options are in the left and right formation. The shots are Fierce God's Will o' the Wisps. It's a high power penetrating bullets, as expected from Suika, but it doesn't home so well. Her Spirit attack is Foregathering Spiritual Flowers. All enemy bullets that hit the area turn into homing bullets and attack enemies. Well, ain't that convenient. Her support skill allows her to collect all the items on the screen. You just need to release all buttons. So pretty much don't touch your fucking keyboard/controller and everything will fly to ya. Fuck that border of collection. Her last shot type is with Aya. This one's called Agility type. The options are Select Position option. It fires in the same and opposite direction of your movement. Option position is fixed while in focus movement. It's kinda like Yomu in the Imperishable Night where her ghost half shoots in the opposite direction of where you're going. Her shot is called Rain Deep in the Mountains. Her Spirit attack is Darkness of the Crow. It summons a circle around Reimu where anything inside it will take damage, and Reimu is immune to damage at the time. So be careful about the timing or you might get yourself killed. Her support skill allows her to move at high speeds, and I mean very high speed. Like I gotta go fast speed type deal. All you need to do is release the shot button. In UFO, Reimu has 2 shot type as this game introduced Sanae as a playable character. Her shot type 8 is Concentrated Attack type. Her shot is Precision Needle and her spell card is Dream Sign Wild Exorcism Dance. In this game, they brought back the bomb pieces so your bombs would drain your power bar like Mountain and Subterranean. Her shot type B is Anti-Pattern Focus Homing type. Her shot is Homing Amulet and her spell card is Spirit Sign Fantasy Seal. In 10 Desires, she only has 1 shot type as the game had Sanae and Yomu as playable characters, which gave it 4 characters including Reimu and Marissa. Her shot type is Cheating Automatic type. Her unfocused shot was Homing Amulet while her focused shot was Precision Needle. Her spell card was Spirit Sign Fantasy Seal. Her special ability in the game was Divine Spirits move to her in the spirit world. She also has a small hitbox, but that's nothing new after I discussed it. In DDC, she has 2 shot types as the game brought back Sakuya. Her shot type A was an Invasion Focus type. Her unfocused shot was Homing Amulet. Do note that her unfocused shot will be the same as her second shot type. Her focus shot was Covitius Onusa. Rather annoying to say, or try to anyway. It's a purification rod which locks onto enemies it hits and continues to damage them. In my opinion, this is like the homing amulet on fucking steroids! Half the time, I think it's an axe spinning around the person. Her spell card is Bewitched Weapon, Merciless Purification Rod. It deals extreme damage at close range, so get it in their face and whack it to death. Her second shot type is Traditional Balance type. Her focus shot is Precision Needle and her spell card is Spirit Sign, Fantasy Seal. And in Legacy, she only has one shot type as it introduced Raisin and brought back Sanae. Her unfocused shot was Homing Amulet and her focus shot was Precision Needle. Her spell card was Spirit Sign, Fantasy Seal. Now in this section, I'll be discussing Reimu in the fighting games based from the Twilight Frontier ones. The information here may be a little lacking since I'm not well versed into Touhou's fighting game, so I'll go do what I can for it. In terms of the fighting game, from Immaterial to Hiso Tensoko, I believe anyway, Reimu is a basic character who leans towards defense and zoning. She has overall solid movesets with good normals, but is lacking in damage. She needs to work for her hits and can't expect much to come of random strikes. Her fast air backdash and her flight turn radius gives her great mobility in the air. Reimu also has an array of bullets that can harass the enemies in different ways. However, Reimu is a bit on the slower side and she might find it hard to drain spirit without the use of spell cards. Overall, Reimu's lack of specialization might be her greatest weakness. Due to this, Reimu's strategy will have to change heavily based on the foe, and the player must be able to be versatile and fully understand both their own and their opponent's options. Requires a lot of tenacity and patience. Sounds like not my type of character, but maybe for you guys. Let me explain the pros and cons for Reimu in the games. Her pros are strong neutral game, excellent zoning, long safe pressure, builds a lot of meter for her above average spell cards, good mobility and flight turn radius, strong aerial pressure, has good stagger block strings, has high damage combo especially in the corner, versatile bullets useful for zoning, sniping and covering wide areas, has many good alternate skills allowing her to be played effectively in different ways, normals have good range and duration, combos will lead to a knockdown anywhere from the screen. Now I'll explain some of the cons when it comes to Reimu. Her versatility requires a lot of familiarity with her moves, low overall damage, weak reversal game makes for a difficult time defending, opponent tends to build a lot of meter, requires high execution for high damaging combos, easy to drain orbs if movement and use of bullet is inefficient, slow flight and air movement, slow sustained dash, which combined with her flight speed gives her difficulty crossing large distances quickly. Block strings require spell card setups to be effective. Now Hopeless Masquerade is where things really change. One of the main things that changes is that everyone is flying, so movement isn't as straightforward as compared to the other games. One of the key things this game features was the religion system. With Shinto, Buddhism, and Taoism, you were able to customize the girl's abilities and attacks that suits your playstyle. Shinto specializes in shooting range. It features more bullets with better homing and attack area, but the bullets can be easily destroyed by other bullets or grazing. Taoism specializes in shooting speed. Its bullets are faster, have better penetration, and harder to be grazed, but they are smaller and have less spread. Buddhism specializes in close combat. Its bullets are larger and stun opponents for longer, but have the worst range. There's also the neutral route, which you don't have to pick any of the religion. You won't be gaining any benefits, mind you, but you won't be gaining any of the disadvantages as well by doing that. In this game, she only has 3 spell cards in a last word. They are Spirit Sign, Fantasy Seal, Treasure Yin Yang Asuka, Divine Arts Omnidirectional Dragon Slaying Circle, and her last word, which is Fantasy Nature. Now with Urban Legend and Limbo, she feels really familiar to Hopeless, so if you've played Reimu a lot, you shouldn't have much trouble picking her up, I believe anyway. In this game, she's dealing with the Arcane, although it doesn't really mention what that is. I have an idea of what the Arcane is because of WoW, but I'm not too sure if WoW's Arcane and Gensokyo's Arcane are different, or the concept of Arcane is the same for both. The main difference with the occult ability, since that's what the game is centered around. The orb can change her gameplay depending on which character you picked. For Reimu, it gives her another projectile to use. She opens a gap and what appears to be popsicle sticks coming out from it. What, you don't see it? Okay, that could just be me, but I feel like they're popsicle sticks for whatever reason. Anyway, they travel at a good speed and deal damage. The more orbs you have, the stronger or faster a move can get, so having more orbs is always a good thing. There is a downside to the occult ability though. You will get a purple glow around your character. If you get hit, you lose access to using your occult ability for a certain amount of time, so be careful when using it. Either way, because she feels familiar to the previous game, she retains the same spell cards as well. Spirit Sign, Fantasy Seal, Divine Arts, Omnidirectional Dragon Slaying Circle, Treasure, Yin Yang Asuka, and her last word, which is dealing with her occult, is to think there'd be a shrine maiden in that gap.